Comic Room. Today is Monday as I adjust my iPad. That's the official filming platform of the Silver Age Dave channel, brought to you by Bill Gates, who's a big fan of the channel, is what I hear. Now I haven't heard that from Bill. He never calls me anymore, but I think he's a big fan of the channel. I can't be certain. Actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. But today's video is not sponsored by anyone. Like usual, nobody contributes to this channel but Silver Age Dave, and we all own it together. So I've always felt that I'm part of the community. I'm not driving anything, so to speak. I'm just sharing time with you guys, and I really enjoy that. And that's why I keep doing it, is because it's fun for me, and I'm enjoying the camaraderie that we get out of this. Looking back, hey, I got 4 people in here, go figure. I better click on the video so I can see what's going on. And, as I look back on the time I've been doing this, I've talked about it before, but I'm shocked to have a YouTube channel. Nothing can surprise me more than having a YouTube channel, because I never thought I would do it. I made one video just to kind of show the early room, and I thought that was going to be it. And for 6 months, I made videos basically talking to myself with no one watching. And then all of a sudden, something happened. I don't know what happened, but then all of a sudden, a lot of people were watching, and I got a little uncomfortable. It went so crazy, and I didn't really expect that. And then we settled into this nice, easy little flow where I got my handful of people out there that are regulars, and I know who you guys are. I want to say hi and welcome London's Fun World, who I don't recognize as being in the chat. So welcome London's Fun World. Comic Mag Musings, nice to see you, Musings. I saw Musings was active in the New York Warriors auction the other night. Nice to see you. James Higgins, always a pleasure, my friend. And Bad Avenger, nice to see you. Everyone, let's stand up and give 3 cheers for Bad Avenger. If not for Bad Avenger, I wouldn't even be making videos. He is the guy that really inspired me. It was some younger people making videos that I saw first, and I thought, well, maybe I could do one. And then I saw Bad Avenger make a video, and I saw, wait a minute, that guy is state of the art. He's my speed. I can do this. So thanks, Bad Avenger. David E68, Millersburg, Ohio. Holy mackerel, David E68. Nice to see you in here. I'm going to try to not miss anybody. You're a good YouTuber. I was just kidding. Hey, thanks, London. Appreciate that. Let me see here. I'm going to show that. London's Fun World is looking for some subscribers. So I will, I'm going to write it down. I have a notepad because I am old school. I'm going to write that down here to check that out. London's DONS Fun World. Fun World. Spelling is not my thing this morning, so I will check that out. Samuel's in here. Nice to see you, Sam. And Heroes to Icons is in here. Great to see you. Randy is in here. Nice to see you, Randy. Another Ohio friend, local guy and collector. So I've got all kinds of things to talk about, but just one of the things was just the YouTube camaraderie that I didn't plan to talk about, but what a big deal it is. And, you have to be careful. I've seen a couple different comic book communities in the years I've been watching YouTube comic stuff and participating, and it seems to change. It was, it was a lot of comic information early on, and then it's developed into more of an auction world for a long time. But what I'm starting to see, and I like the auctions. I like seeing, one, what people have for sale and what other people are willing to pay for it. I find it really interesting. More interesting, really, than watching YouTube auctions. Hey, there's a face I don't see that often. Dr. Von Schiller. We're going to stand up and clap for Dr. Von Schiller, too. Everybody join in with me. Nice to see you, Dr. Von Schiller. I hope all is well. I am coming to Pennsylvania twice this summer/fall. I'm going to be in Waterville, Pennsylvania for Eastern State's 100-mile ultra marathon. I think it is around August 24th or somewhere in there, 14th. And then I'm going to be, that's in northeastern Pennsylvania. And then I am going to be in northwest Pennsylvania in Titusville, Oil City area for the Oil Creek 100 miler. That one's not till October. But I think about you all the time, Dr. Von Chill. I hope all is going well. And so anyway, and Dr. Von Chill has been around YouTube way longer than I have. But, I was thinking about how much it's changed, where it went from this informational, I always talk about Captain Strangelove and Dr. Silver Age, and you had just a whole bunch of people that were sharing the great comic information. Dr. Von Chill, of course, was in there. And I think ETA Nick's been around for quite a while. Really, for the money, I think Nick has the best YouTube channel. He's not wordy. He gets to the point. He doesn't care if you like him or not. And he's just going to call it like he sees it. And Nick and I have disagreed. He's had me pulling my hair out a number of times. But I love what he does. The daily videos and the information shares is just beautiful. So like him or not, there's great stuff there. So we went from that type of YouTube community. I give all the credit in the world to Big E's and the New York Warriors, who, when I started in making videos, they were big time. And there was a lot of fun that was happening on their channels. The great legend, he had a little crew, but really he ran these late night solo shows that were so fun. I've mentioned before, it's like the Bruce Springsteen line in such a great song, like Roy Orbison singing to the Lonely. And I think that's how some of those early YouTube comic shows were. It was like there was all of us guys out there who were generally pretty solitary. That's how I am. I'm generally a solitary guy. A lot of loners out there. And then all of a sudden we found other guys. And it was fun. And then it developed into a lot of auction and sale stuff, big unboxings, which is wildly exciting. And now what I'm seeing is, it seems like, just my opinion, there's less people in these auctions. And I love the auctions. There's a lot of them out there. They're, almost 24 hours a day. You can almost go on YouTube and find a comic book auction. But there's less people in them. Where it used to be a New York Warriors auction had, a couple hundred people in there. And Strictly Comics had, hundreds of people on any given night. And lately it seems like you're in the 40 to 90. And I'm not counting Very Gary or some of the big time auctions. Those are still overloaded. But I'm really curious to see what this is going to develop into over the next 6 months. So we'll have to see along together. Oh yeah, I've shown my face on here a couple times. We're going to do a fun one here for London's Fun World. I'm going to do a on-screen moment, but I want to say hi to Grotto Orloff in the line of the Captain Strangelove, who I talked about. Grotto has very entertaining shows he does, so nice to see you in there. And I think I'm caught up with everyone else. So, prepare your screens. This is Silver Age Dave. Hi, everybody. I'm not so secretive. Part of the reason that's it. I'm gonna get off of there. See, I'm a little shy today. People have asked me why I don't have my face on screen for these. I know, some like it, some don't. Comics with Bueller, his first video or two were no face. And then Patrick, Luther Manning, was always a fan of being on screen. If I looked like him, I'd want to be on screen too. But all of a sudden, then Bueller swapped over to on screen. So it's, some people like it, some people don't. And I just always felt, without judgment or any of that stuff, I just always felt like when you join me here in the comic room, we're here to talk about this kind of stuff. Let me grab a comic book. We're here to talk about this stuff, and I want this stuff to be the star always. I don't, if I'm walking around at a con or at a store, I'm admiring the same stuff you guys are. I'm looking at the comics. So that's just how I did this. But anyway, that's what I know about that. So you look young. How old are you? Oh, I'm old. My first comic, I had to go into a cave, and it was hieroglyphics. So that's pretty old. Anyway, here we go. Let's talk about something. I hinted at a giant speculation, and I'm going to talk about that. Here it is. If you know what, I want to show some oddities because it'll just get them out of the way. I was going through a box. My wife, Mrs. Silrage Dave, she has one sister, Lynn, who is very handicapped, and we unfortunately Lynn died about a year ago, and very heartbreaking. But Lynn was almost 50 years old. She had a long life. They said when she was 2 or 3 years old that she probably wouldn't live to 9, and she had the most lovely life, most lovely parents who really just the my wife and her parents, just we wrapped our life around Lynn to take care of her and to love her and respect her, and she just had the most beautiful life. And but she was maybe a 5 or 6 year old mentally. And what was cool about that is Christmas was always exciting. Okay, even when there were no kids around, there was always excitement because Santa Claus existed, and that's a beautiful place. And anyway, we've been going through some of her stuff, and she was always a turtle fan, and she had some of the toys. But I found these turtle books, and I thought it was really, really neat. My oldest son Gabe is a big turtle fan, so these will go to him. But I thought I'd share some of this stuff. Some younger people in the channel, in the community, might know what these are. I was just a little too old for turtles. I picked up TNMT #1 off the rack and put it back down because I didn't want to pay that much for a black and white. But there's some turtle books of Lynn's that we found, and I thought they're really cool. So I thought I'd share these as oddities, and just neat stuff. And they're in nice condition. She read them, so they're not perfect, but just really cool stuff. And what's neat, Bad Avenger sometimes will share first appearances that are in different types of books. They aren't in comic books. Here's a pop-up book that's pretty cool. She had. There's one where you pull a tab. I don't want to break anything. Stuff's all pretty old. But check that one out. That's pretty cool. And anyway, so we found some of these oddities going through her books. And we have, what's really cool is there's some first print Dr. Seuss and Charlie Brown books from the 60s and 70s. And so there's certainly some treasures in there we are going to save. Our kids are too old, but we're going to have grandkids. That's how life is. So we're going to save some of this stuff for them and for our kids to have. So that's pretty cool. We'll get that off the table. I was at a garage sale the other day, and I picked this up for $1. And it's, as far as I can tell, it's unread. Regrettable Supervillains, which I think, this is a Loot Crate edition. I think I have a different book. I don't know if I have a first printing of it or if it came in comic form, but this is pretty cool. I think it's 2016, and I'm looking forward to reading that. So for $1, how can you lose? And then this little guy here, I've been eyeballing at Walmart and Meijer and Amazon for a while. This is a Lego Spider-Man, but it's the only place I can find where you get a Spider-Gwen on a skateboard. And as we know, I have a Spider-Gwen in the family, so I'm just an easy mark for Marvel. Anything they have with Spider-Gwen, I end up buying. But look at the characters in there, pretty cool. Those are the characters you get. I'll zoom in on them so we know what's what. But can't complain about that. Look at that Spider-Gwen. That's a great one. So that's another oddity I picked up. And I don't know if I showed these. I bought a bunch of these Night Gwens. A couple weeks ago they came out because I wanted the design variant, which I think is beautiful. I think it's a nothing burger of a series, but cool comic. So more stuff about Gwen. So that is some of the oddities. I'm going to scratch that off my little list here that we already talked about that. And I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to answer a couple questions. I've had great response in comments on a couple videos, especially the flipper video. I talked about my thoughts on flippers and speculators and all that. And, and I always want to preface that I don't know nothing about nothing. Okay, I'm not from New York, but I am from Chicago. And one of the first things my dad taught me is you didn't see a thing. He had some people that he knew that it's best if you don't see anything. And he taught me that at a young age is you just don't know anything. And so when I'm talking about my opinions and my thoughts on things, it's really just my thoughts. And I am looking for people to comment and share their thoughts. And I love it. Everyone's always so nice and respectful. If you weren't, I would get rid of the comment. But there were a couple in there that I found to be really interesting. And in one in particular, and we'll talk about speculation in a little bit. Um, so um, I think London Fun World is wanting to know how old I am. So I am 53. And for those of you who follow along in the channel, every year I do a birthday run where on my birthday I run the number of miles for my age. So this year, of course, on April 19th, I ran 53 miles. And next year, spoiler alert, I'm going to run 54 miles. And I kid my kids that when I turn 90, they're going to have to throw me a party on a different day than my birthday because it's probably going to take me all 24 hours to run 90 miles. That's the running joke in the family. So back to this is I really love the question of the community videos and the responses because they're so it just lets me have a better feel for who's out there. Well, one of the comments I love is from Wham Pan Man, who I don't remember. Maybe it was the first comment on, but he had commented twice, which I think is great. Once that he's newer back to the hobby, like a lot of us who get out of the hobby and then you come back. And he had commented how crazy it was. And I think if I did a question in the community, do you think it's crazy right now? We'd get 100% agreement. It's crazy. In my opinion on that is if you can blindfold yourself and throw a dart and hit the bullseye every single time, something's wrong. Everything shouldn't spike. It shouldn't be that kind of hobby. And so total agreement with you. And he also mentioned in there, seeing the prices go crazy sure is good for you if you already have them all. And man, I wish I had them all. But the fact is, things do go up. This is an unreal one, and I'm not saying things are going to crash. I don't think they will. I think things were undervalued. I think some things will crash. I haven't gone full on into the horror stuff that's coming out right now, but the fact is, our world is a crazy world, and there's some ebb and flow that happens. Okay, and there were times after wars where all of a sudden people wanted romance and people wanted westerns and people wanted superheroes because they were tired of war comics. They didn't want war. They wanted something else. And maybe our country right now is, and I'm talking United States, I think there's a lot of division overseas though. But I think the country is so divided and there's so much anxiety that I think right now the horror comics have hit a chord. And hopefully we get to a place where we want to see more Western and romance and things like that. And just plain superheroes without all the nonsense. Let's just have superheroes, okay? And so anyway, Wampan Man commented that, yeah, it's great for you if you have them all. And the fact is that, what I have, I can't speak for everyone, but what I have is 50 years of building and really, for the most part, not selling. I have sold, but for the most part, it's 50 years of building the collection. At some point, I'm going to pay the price for that as I start downsizing it. And another person made a great comment. I think it was Wayne Salinas made a comment about the value of the collection. And there's some people on YouTube we say, hey, buy what you love and you'll be fine. And I think Wayne is attacking the hobby versus just floating along. It's like the Forrest Gump thing, is it destiny, or are we all just floating along? And my comment to buy what you love is buy stuff you enjoy reading if that's what you're after. If you're after it to, follow key collector and go, follow the hottest trends, I think somewhere someone's going to get caught holding the bag. And I've never done that. I am specking now on a few things, but um, but hang on one second. Um, but generally, do we love the hobby, and do we love the comics, and what are we trying to get out of it? So again, I'm not preaching to anyone, because what do I know? But I always feel like if you're buying things because you're passionate about them, regardless of what the value is later, it's going to be okay. And I know what the value of this room would be if I wanted to sell it today based on a book value, but good luck finding the person who wants to pay that much. So it's like stock or anything else. It's worth one thing if you're holding it, but it's worth another thing if you sell. And so I've always approached the hobby that I'm just gonna buy things based on, does it make me happy? Does it bring me joy to do this? And when it doesn't bring me joy, then that's when I take breaks for a month, a year, or a couple years, however long. I want to say hi to Comic Book G Spot. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. Keep It Comics is in here. Great to see you. Movie World, I don't think I said hello, and I'm saying hello to you. Appreciate you being in here. And I think I've got everyone. So let's talk about, I think, the biggest spec that I really missed out on. This is unbelievable. I don't know how I didn't see it coming, but let me show you. This is the biggest spec pick of the year as far as I'm concerned. Here it is, everybody. If you had the foresight to buy up thousands of these, you're in the money, because it is nuts right now. It is absolutely crazy, and you could probably tell I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek. But I was at a comic book store, was it Tuesday? Yeah, last Tuesday. I was at a store where I spent, I'm going to block out a lot of this. This is how much I spent at a comic book store. Unbelievable. I don't know if you can see that, but that says $381. I spent, now I spend less, believe it or not, on comics now than I was a few years ago. But they had behind the counter just a couple of BCW long boxes, and they wouldn't sell me one, and they were charging like $8 for them. But it's so back ordered that, with all respect, the guy in there said, Dave, I wish I could sell you one. I need these, and I don't know when I can get more. Unbelievable. These things are so expensive right now, and they're on back order. Unbelievable. So tongue-in-cheek spec pick. But if you were sitting on 100 of these, I mean, compared to a year or two ago, you could triple your money. I never thought something as simple as cardboard, and maybe Amazon's just using all the cardboard. I don't know. But these things, I've got some old junky boxes I'm happy I saved just so I have places to put stuff. So, spec picks. Okay. I've never been one for big speculation, but in the last 6 months, I decided I'm just going to throw a couple darts. And I'm very fortunate in life. I'm not putting myself in a hole, and I'm not taking food off the table, but I'm just having fun in a different way with the hobby. So I've talked about this book before, and I'm going to tell you why I love this book. And I'm not trying to sell you a book, because none of my copies of Robin are for sale. They're not on eBay. They're not anywhere. I'm just sitting on them for a couple personal reasons. But I want to talk about DC, because DC, in my opinion, is doing a great job of producing comic books. The art is great. The stories are great. And I'm just enjoying them. And there's not, unless I'm missing something, there's not 50 different covers available. I get it for Tech 1000 and Action 1000. You got to go big on something like that. But for the most part, there's cover A, cover B. Sometimes there's an incentive maybe, but for the most part, they're just producing comic books. And yeah, there's a wood shortage, and absolutely. So this is a book that I think is a long-term keeper. Now, the reason I'm buying these is that this character Damien looks exactly like my son Andrew. And my son Andrew acts like Damien in so many ways. He drives me crazy sometimes, but if they were casting for Damien tomorrow, I think Andrew could just get the part. They would just say, "Hey, that's obviously Damien." And so what I'm doing when I heard there was a Robin series coming out, and I heard there was a new, which DC, the one downfall, every single issue has a new first appearance villain or someone first appearance. But when I found out there was a new Robin series, Damian Wayne coming out, I loved the Super Sons, and I thought, um, no, I didn't. The horror stuff, I haven't, Steven. Um, yeah, no kidding, Grotto. We see eye to eye on that. Um, so um, I like the series, and this is issue 3, okay. And I'm not gonna do spoilers on it, but I give it 5 thumbs up. If I had 5 thumbs, you'd see them all right now. Issue 1, issue 2, issue 3. Um, a lot of modern comic books that I've seen. Look how I'm balancing that. That is a gutsy move. This is like I could be on America's Got Talent stuff right now, like the magic. A lot of comic books right now, you get them and it's like, oh, the art is great, but you can read the whole comic in about 30 seconds because there's not a lot of dialogue, there's not a lot of words in it. And then obviously in the old days, Alan Moore would put something out and you had to, take a day off work to read that thing if you wanted to read it in one day. But, but this book, I'm going to show, look at the action panels on here. The art is beautiful and there's plenty of thought. You have to read, not an, not a, what am I looking for? Not a crazy amount of reading. That's not the word I was looking for. But there's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in the Robin series. So I think what's going to happen if DC can ever make a TV show or a movie successfully, I think what'll happen is a book like this, which is, I think it's really written for a younger generation. It's like a Mortal Kombat, which if you asked me to describe more words than the title, I couldn't tell you what Mortal Kombat is, but I think it's a battle game that happened that all the young kids know about, and I think it's just a really really cool series. And they have some manga references in here, and they have these young people, and it's young people thoughts and ideas, and I really like everything about the series so far. I ordered a lot of the issue number 1. Hey, we got Seawood in here. Nice to see you, Seawood. I ordered a lot of the number 1s, and I'm ordering 50 copies each of A and B through issue number 6. Look at that. Look at that cover. These are just beautiful. And these are like a cardstock variant. So, I just love them. I think they're really cool. But mostly I'm buying it because I'm enjoying it so much. So I think, hey, we got Johnny Two Chips in here. Guys, hey, can you do me a favor, Bad Avenger? You know what? I'm giving Seawood the power. Hold on a second. I'm giving Seawood the power because he's a young, he knows about stuff. So Seawood, I think I gave you the power. And oh, look at that. Gene Paul Ace Peter is in here. GPAP, nice to see you, buddy. Of course we know who that is. I was actually just talking about Gene Simmons this morning, as luck would have it. So nice to see you. Great members of the community. So back to Johnny Two Chips. Please put Johnny Two Chips link in here so people can sub up Seawood. Two Chips has this amazing Batman collection. He's like the most calming guy. When you watch one of his videos, I'm just a big fan. So there you go. You have the power, Seawood. Check this out. Hang on a second. I'm too young for this, but there's a cool Masters of the Universe little mini book. That must have come with a toy or something. One of you guys that knows about this, yeah, see, there's some figures you could buy, but maybe they'll have a Seawood figure someday. I think everyone would buy that, and I'd want a signed copy of a Seawood figure if I got one, okay? I'd probably take it out of the box and play with it, so it wouldn't be like a carded figure, but the box would be in nice shape. So check that out. There you go. Seawood, thank you. And so yeah, look at that. No one's seen GPAP in a while. We have Tylon the Mighty. Look at that. Nice to see you, Tylon. I don't have my glasses, so maybe I'm pronouncing names wrong. Tylox? Let me get up close and personal here. Yeah, Tylox the Mighty. Nice to see you. So that's a book I don't even want to say I'm specking on. I'm really buying it for my kids. I've got 6 kids, and I want to leave them some special stuff someday. So this way, it's a series that's not gross. It's not pornographic. It's not, sorry, woke is all get out, trying to force things that I don't think should be forced. It's a series I find fun and enjoyable. And when my grandkids someday turn, I don't know, 7, I can hand them this book and know that they'll be reading a book like I was reading a book just for the fun of it. You know, that's always how I feel. Why can't comics be just for the fun of it? Okay. So, that's funny, Seawood. It would be an inaction figure. That's okay. If it's sitting in a couch and it's got a couple comic books to flip through, that's all it needs to do. Just be active reading comics. Okay. So, that's one book. Now, the next one, I'm going to have to use all my powers of technology. Hey, we got Kyle Walker in here. Look at this. All these great names. We recognize long-term community members. And what's funny is all of us were a new member of the community at some time. So whether you're making your first video or you stop making videos or you're not around as much because life is taking you a different direction, there's so much room in this community for everybody. And it's just nice every now and then to see an old name or an old face in the community. So thanks, guys, for spending time. So I'm going to show you a book that I did spec big on. I'm picking them up tomorrow. Let me see if I can get it here. Let me see if I can get it here because I'm a slow typer. And I'm going to show you this cover. Let me look at this slow typing. So this is a series that came out. This is Batman Urban Legends 5. Okay. And there's 3 covers available for it. Okay. This is, I don't know what cover that is. That's probably cover A. Okay. And then, admittedly, I haven't been reading it, but, okay, this one is a Tyler Kirkham cover B, and I'm just showing some pictures off of eBay, but that's okay. That's cover B, which I think is really, really a great cover. But what I did is I went big time on cover C, okay, which I historically don't go big time, but I'm doing it with Robin. I'm doing it with a couple other things, so I thought, what the heck? I think this will be a comic book people will want. There's a first appearance because it's DC. A character I think called Cheer. Correct me if you know more than I know. But this is the Yoon cover C. Let me get it on here. And these are pricey. Whoop, I'm getting emails. Let me get rid of my email. This is a Yoon cover C. And I just thought it's a beautiful cover. The Robin one had a team variant, which was I think Tyler Kirkham maybe did the cover. I can't remember. but it was a beautiful. No, I'm sorry. It was Tyler Kirkham. It was Kubert. It was a Kubert cover, and I bought a ton of them because I thought it was beautiful. And I haven't seen this in person yet, but I'm gonna imagine. I love the color and the way the cover's set up is just really, really cool. Plus, I think it's a cover people will want to buy in the future. So I went big. I ordered 100 of those, which I'm going to pick up, I think, tomorrow. It's a Mimi Yoon variant. Yeah, it comes out tomorrow. And so that's a spec pick. And I'm not buying these thinking, oh, I'm going to buy it for $1 and it's going to be worth $100. I'm just thinking if I'm going to have a lot of multiples, what? I closed down my thing so I can't see the chat now. Holy moly. Let me catch up here. So if I'm going to be sitting on a bunch, then, those are books. This one for personal family reasons. I'm trying to give the money to DC. That's how we vote. So I'm trying to give the money to DC, but also have something that for birthdays or Christmas, I can hand these things out in the future. And you know what? If they become worth a lot of money in the future because they're a key, we've seen recently, I think Marvel Superhero Secret Wars issue 3 and issue 7 kind of jumped up out of nowhere. If they do like that, then that's good too. But that's why I bought those. Now the Mimi Yoon cover I'm buying because I think it will go up in value. And maybe a year from now, I'll have a bunch of them and I'll sell a few of them. We'll see what happens. So GPAP says he's looking at JLA 64 that just came out. That's great. And then Seawood hasn't enjoyed the reads. But see, Seawood, it's because I'm younger than you are that I can enjoy that stuff. No, Seawood is a younger guy. And you know what? You are, I think you are one of the most advanced comic readers in the community. So I think for you to really enjoy a book, it has to be deep, 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 batting it out of the park, is my guess. So I'm going through these preview catalogs now, which historically I didn't hunt in the preview catalogs, but I'm finding some cool things. And what I'm doing, I'm going to try to find something in here. I think this is upside down. Yeah, see, previews always has two sides to it. I found something that I really like. If I can't find it here quickly, then I'm just going to move right past it. Scotty Young is doing the official t-shirt for Free Comic Book Day. And it is awesome. And I am getting a t-shirt. I generally don't have a lot of comic book t-shirts, but I loved it. So when Free Comic Book Day rolls around at a great LCS near you, maybe they'll have that shirt. Yeah, I won't waste more time looking at it, but check it out. It's a pretty cool shirt. So I'm looking through there and I'm trying to be smart about, hey, I don't mind spending a couple $100, $200, $300, $400 over the course of a month on comics. I want to do it differently because over a period of a few years, I was spending that much money, sometimes more, and I was getting a lot of things I was disappointed in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find things I like. I'm taking, some of the people in the community. Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Gray Man, or good night. You're probably getting ready for bed. I'm going to flip through here and see if I can find it because it is really, really nice. Yeah, Scotty Young did it. And I think I could wear a t-shirt like that and be pretty happy because it was a simple thing. And, not too much. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Some of you guys probably wear a t-shirt better than I do anyway, but I wouldn't mind advertising. I do like Scotty Young. So, so Free Comic Book Day. The other thing I'm doing is I used to have a store that would I don't know if I can say this, they're out of business. So I would buy a complete set of Free Comic Book Day. So I didn't have to mess around and I didn't want to take anything from them because they were giving me a deal. When I came in to buy comics, they would give me a deal. So I always felt like, you know what, I don't want the owner wasting money on me for Free Comic Book Day. And I also don't want to be limited to 3. Like if I go in there for free comic book day, I love comics. I want them all. So what I had was a deal worked out. I knew what he paid for them, and he would put aside for me a complete set, and I would just buy them for his price. What he was paying, I would pay. Yeah, now it's impossible. Like, why wouldn't I have flagged it so I could see it? So you'll have to find that shirt yourself, guys. But anyway, free comic book day in preview. This issue of previews has all the free comic book day issues in it, so you know. And they also have the Halloween ones, which are going to come out for the Halloween Fest or whatever they call it. Um, so those are my thoughts on some speculation that I'm doing, and in things that I've seen. One last, oh well, Ian Kirk commented on that Flipper video also, talking about getting into YouTube and using it as a resource. And we kind of talked about that, how the community is now and how it's developing. We have a lot of great shows. Economics and Comics was doing it a while ago. Certainly Comic Tom and Jim Mint, do an amazing job of showcasing things. In Elite Comics, I think it's Elite Comics, I learn a lot from their videos. But there's other people in the community. Bueller still does shows where he's showing stuff off. And I love that stuff. So I love YouTube as a resource. I don't pay anyone for information other than Go Collect. I do pay them, and I love that as a resource. Not as much that I'm selling comics, but I have used it to buy comics before, where I'm figuring out what a good deal would be or a good value if I'm buying on eBay or from a LCS even. I'll price check them with Go Collect or eBay sometimes. So so Ian, I wanted to comment on that. I didn't comment on your comment yet, but I think it's great to use YouTube as a form, and I think that's what it's developed a little bit, getting away from auctions and getting to a information source. Whether you're just a hobbyist or a flipper or a specker, there's a lot of great information out there that gets you kind of ahead of the curve. Okay, so we got Lego Builder in here. Nice to see you, Lego Builder. We covered 42 minutes of me chatting a lot, not showing a lot. I've been wanting to open up Walmart packs, or I could just grab out a random box and we can look at comics, or I could just get along with my day. I'm going running today. I'm in the taper period now. I did all my long runs, and I've got my next race, Burning River 100-miler, is in less than 2 weeks. So I've got that coming up, and I've reached my taper period, which anyone who is an athlete in a prior life knows that you work really hard. You break your body down, take it to the breaking point, and then the muscle builds. Well, you want to give your body time to recover. So I am ravenous hungry lately. My body's needing lots of proteins. I'm eating lots of fruit and trying to get good foods in me so I can rebuild. But I hit an emotional wall. Hey, thanks Lego Builder for being in here. Digital overload. Nice to see you. Hello. And thank you so much, Comic Book G Spot. So now I'm just trying to build my body back up for the next week and a half, and then I'm going to have race day. It's going to be 2 weeks from this past Saturday. I don't even know what day it is, but should be a fun race, and I'll come in after that. But I hit a depression. When you're running real long distances. I ran 94 miles over the course of 8 days, and it was lovely. But then the next day I was so mad because I love running long distances, and you can't. You got to take a break. And I had like a whole day where I was avoiding human beings. I was going to make a video, and I thought, I better not, because I'm going to be mad. So these are a couple books. How was the last big race? Man, it was a tough race. I'll talk about that, but I don't want to do that right now, Gray Man. I didn't finish it. Most people didn't finish it. We just got some hot, nasty weather, and it was deceptive weather and conditions, and it really wrecked a lot of us. But I loved it, and I'm already signed up for next year. So I'm going back next year, and I'm going to attack it a little differently. It was the first time I had ran that one. Um, these are a couple things I picked up. I haven't read any Department of Truth yet. They had these on the rack, and so I bought them. And I don't know if it's a series where I can jump in and just read them. This is issue 10, or if I need to get the trade. That's what I did with Lazarus when I fell in love with that series. Is I first picked up a trade and read them, and then I went crazy buying them up. So I might have to do a Department of Truth, just buy the trades. Let me know what you think. And they had these Spawn Universe, which this is a #1 issue. Obviously, Spawn is going nowhere. And so I bought 5 different covers for that they had on the rack. And I picked these up a week late, but they're all nice shape, so I just bought them. So that was I don't even call that a spec pick. I'll read one, and then I'm just gonna stick them together. Uh, oh, hey, congratulations to Mrs. Bub. Bub's Comics is in here. And you should make run updates too, I think. Hey, you know what, Gray Man? I am going to do that. And I actually started a channel. I'll share that. I don't know what the title of the channel is going to be, but right now it's called That Guy Ultra Running. And see that guy run. See right there, that's like a Silver Age Dave. But what's funny is I started filming a couple videos, and they always start with, "Hello YouTube, this is Silver Age Dave." I'm like, well, not really on this channel, so I don't know what to do. I've got some content I'll be putting out that'll be running content and updates on that stuff, but it the channel doesn't have content yet. So if you want to subscribe to it, that's beautiful. That Guy Ultra Running. And if I change the name, I think you would still have a subscription to it. And I'll be doing some content soon. I've got some guests that are going to be coming on, and we're going to be talking about running and those types of things. And I'll give my whole background on running, which isn't that long a background. And I was the most unhealthy guy on the planet, couldn't run 10 feet. And then all of a sudden I'm doing this. So that stuff I'll talk about. Let's see. It will take a whole year for my spine to bond to the metal in my back. Yeah, Lego Builder had a big time surgery and went through a lot. So definitely remember you telling me that whole story, Lego Builder. And you get through it. You know what? The biggest thing is keep a smile on your face. I've found no matter how hard life is, and I'm not perfect at this, sometimes life gives you the 1-2 sucker punch, and it's hard. I've been angry. I've been reclusive. I've had times where I just want it to be over because I've been in dark places in my life, and I know how it is when things aren't going your way. I have not had an easy life, but if you find something you enjoy and you can find a reason to smile, it's just going to see you through, because it's, God didn't promise us he's going to make it easy. He promised he's going to be there on the other side to catch us. And so we just have to keep up the good fight as long as we can and stay positive. And Lego, you're going to be great, my man. Yeah, see, the surgeon said it's a big success. So there you go. So, you know what? I'm just going to open a couple of these because no one really commented yes or no that I saw. These have like a poster thing going on. And let me see if I can carefully run down this side without cutting the book. We'll see what happens. I haven't opened many of these. I generally look to, I think it's Southern Comic Geek does Walmart unboxings. And so I look to some other channels for the unboxings, but this is a Wonder Woman #1 from DC. Apparently there's some foil covers. Here we got a Future State Superman versus Imperious Lex #2. We've got an Aquaman in here. This is issue #2 from Future State. And then this Dark Knight's Death Metal #3. That is a pretty neat looking cover. I didn't read Dark Knight's Death Metal. I know there were a million different covers, I think, and I have some of them, but I hadn't read any. And so that's that. And what I'm doing with these, because frankly, I'm not expert enough to know if they're Walmart variants or if they're not variants. I think there's a way to tell if they're Walmart variants, but I'm boxing all of these together, um, and in one box called Walmart. So long boxes that are going to be in the next room over there. My daughter Haley Quinn is doing an amazing job organizing and alphabetizing. She should, work for the library someday, like the Smithsonian or Library of Congress or something, because she is so focused. So these are all going to stay together. They'll go into that box alphabetized until I can figure out whether they're actually variants or not. There you go, Superman rocking it out. Love it, yeah. And there was a Spider Gwen cover like that where she was Spider Gwen, but she was rocking it out. And I love those. And these are probably in order, reverse order of when I bought them. This one's a silk #1. Look at that, like a surgeon. Lego builder, your surgeon might want to watch this video to see some of my skills. Okay, now your surgeon's probably a lot better and smarter than Silver Age Dave. As an athlete, I was never the best athlete. I don't consider myself a very talented athlete. What I can consider myself is dumb and resilient. That what I would show up to practice earliest, I would leave practice last, and whatever task they threw at me, no matter how bad it was, I would always fight through it. I would always finish whatever the running or the thing they told us to do. I would always do a great job at it. And so coaches always wanted me around. Okay, so this one's an interesting one because it says, I threw out the plastic. What did it say on it? Darn. 3 great Marvel comics, one terrific price. So this isn't DC, of course, Silk. So we've got Silk #1. Okay, so I think those are the Walmart exclusives when they have the back on them like that. I think that's what they have. Hey, Spinner Rack is in here. Rotator cuff surgery. Yeah, Spinner Rack is another one. Please, Seawood, if you're still in here, or one of the moderators, please put Spinner Rack in here. I shout out Spinner Rack Studios. Great channel. Dr. Von Chilla, I think you would really enjoy it. He's got a great old collection. He's got tons of spinner racks, but he's also a Christmas expert. So I actually, in one of the chats, I posed a Christmas question, some Department 56 villages I'm going to be selling. And really beautiful answer you gave me, Spinner Rack. Thank you for all the time you put in on that. So here we got the Fantastic Four antithesis. Some words are hard to pronounce, but that one is antithesis right there. Great Galactus. Great Galactus Ghost, right? I don't know what Burt Ward would say. That's a second printing. Okay, so beautiful cover there. And then we have a sketch cover. We have a little bit of color rub on here. Now, if I gave that to some of the people in the community, they could probably get rid of that. This is a, in the 9s. There's a little bit of rubbing because it was in that pack. But we've got a Lando #1 variant edition. If I am Seawood, I would offer Silver Age Dave $200 for that comic right there, because you could take it and get signatures and sketches on it. I don't go to a lot of cons, and I don't stand in lines for signatures. The most famous person I've ever met is Mr. Jerry Conway, and I was starstruck meeting him. So I thought going in, oh, I'm going to do like Bueller, and I'm going to interview him and have all this great conversation. And I got up there, and I had a foot in my mouth. All I could say was, thank you, Mr. Conway. He signed actually, this one right here. This is my beat-up reader copy of ASM 129. And he was at Fantasticon, and he just signed it right across there. I didn't tape it off or say, sign it here or there. It's such a beat up copy. You can see the back on there. It's trashed. And it's one that I decided a few years ago I was going to sell. And so a friend said, you know what, if you're going to sell it anyway, get it encased and get it signed. Why not? I think he charged $15 and that was okay. And yeah, so that's my Jerry Conway story. Is if you ever want to see a great interview of someone famous, some comic creator, don't look to me because I would just be dumb. I'd be like, what'd you do yesterday? You know, something dumb. I wouldn't have any good questions. All right, so let's open another one. Nightwing is one of those series that I'm going to get some stuff out of my way. Hold on. These preview books and DC Connect, I'm going to get rid of those so we can see what's going on. The Wall of Robins have to stay because I got to get those put in their big box. That's the only nice thing. When I'm buying them like this, I get a free diamond box, which, these are pretty nice. So when I'm buying lots of multiples, I'm storing them in these big diamond free boxes. Better than paying $8 for a long box I can't even get my hands on. I just get the diamond box. So let's see what we can do here. We're going to come right down. I'm cutting my poster. I got to go between the books. Avoid the staples. Okay. So this is Nightwing 78. And I think there were a couple recent Nightwing key books that you have to buy. And I don't have them unless they show up in here. I haven't been buying Nightwing. So that's Nightwing 78. This is Batman 96. And a couple times ago, I bought a bunch and I got the, I think it was Batman 92, which was first cover appearance of Punchline. I've got like 8 of them or more that came through. Hey, there's a Nightwing 72. I think the ones people were specking on were in the 60s. And then what do we have here? Batgirl 47. There we got Joker. And there we got Batgirl. I don't know if I showed these. I'm cutting these open. I'm not even showing you guys. That's very rude of me. Can't believe it. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in today. So there was the Batman 96. I am thinking of reading this new Joker series that's coming out. I might pick some copies up tomorrow when I go to the LCS to pick up those Batman Urban Legends number 5. I might pick some up. It looks interesting. 3 Jokers, when that came out, I loved it. And the book 3, I won't spoiler it if you haven't read it, but book 3, I didn't love it as much as I loved 1 and 2, but I loved 1 and 2. I think that's cool stuff. I guess what this new Joker series talks about, and this isn't a spoiler, here's another Marvel pack of 3. What it talks about is Joker's first night in Arkham Asylum. And so hopefully they do a nice job. Yeah, be careful with Dave and the X-Acto knife. That's the whole neighborhood does not like when I'm outside with power tools with cutting blades on them. But I haven't lost any fingers yet. And no comic books were harmed in the making of this video. So that's pretty cool. I don't even know what's going on there, but that's pretty cool. So we have ASM King in Black number 1. We have Champions Outlawed number 2. I think there's some Champion spec right now on maybe 90s Champions books. We'll see. Random box of Silver or Bronze Age, says Grotto. We'll see how long I stay online today, if we can get to that. I'm going to open a couple more of these up because I was really curious to see what's there. So this is Black Widow Variant Edition. Could that be right? Could that be cover number 9? See, that's what's wrong with Marvel. I'm sorry. If there are 9 covers for Black Widow number 1, then something wrong is happening. And that's kind of a cool cover. It's like an Andy Warhol looking thing. But if there are 9 covers, that's crazy. Spinner Rack's going back to work. Thanks, Spinner Rack, for stopping in and hanging out for a little bit. And thanks again for that answer on the Department 56 houses. I'm going to have a garage sale and sell like 100 Department 56 houses. I'm probably going to do that, I think, in early November. That's when my running season is over and things slow down for me a little bit. Let's see. Oh, this was a cool one. So we'll open this one up and see what's what. We'll open a couple more, and then maybe I'll show a couple old things. Okay, besides myself. I showed myself today, so that's one old thing. And we'll show a couple other old things maybe. So let me get this one off of there. See, this is going to give Haley Quinn something else to do. She works for me now like 2 to 3 days a week, just going through boxes and alphabetizing and organizing things. I got to give this a little start. You wouldn't think it'd be hard to rip this little cellophane, but sometimes it is obstinate. The cellophane does not want to be cut. Okay, so this one is a cool one. Okay, and that's a Walmart variant because it's got that weird back on it. All right, so that's ASM number 62. That's pretty cool. Set that over here. We got Avengers number 36. So most part, it's kind of like when people are buying mystery boxes, which I don't generally do. You're just getting a bunch of stuff you wouldn't otherwise know about, and you're hoping for a big book to show up. But I don't think the big books ever really show up. If nothing else, I'm getting a free backing board with these, which I think backing boards are hard to come by too. So you get a backing board, and you know what? Let's do one or two more, and then maybe I'll pull a box. Let me show you guys what I have, and we can vote. That one we already opened. That one we already opened. So I have a Scream. I have an Aliens number 1. I have a Black Knight number 1. A couple of those. I have High Republic, which I think is that's issue number 3. And that's about it. I have a whole bunch of those. But what do you guys want to see? Black Knight or Alien or Scream? I'm tempted right now. I don't know what I'm tempted to do. I'm tempted to do the one of the High Republics. I've got a whole bunch of High Republics, but this High Republic has different comics in it than these High Republics. You can kind of see from the side there's different ones in this last one than in these first 3. So maybe I'm going to open the Odd Man Out here. Yeah, Johnny Two Chips says High Republic. You know what? We'll open both of these and see what the difference is. So this is the standard one, which I have 4 of these. Yeah, every number 1, everything's a number 1, makes me absolutely crazy. And really, it's part of what I think is going to chase a lot of people out of the hobby. I talk about buying comics out on the open market, how it's, eBay is kind of the Wild West. There's so many sellers, and there are still deals. It is getting hard, though. I'll admit. I thought this time last year that there were still plenty of deals, but it's getting harder to find good deals as there's a lot of people that are just buying comics, So there we have our number 3, and that's a Walmart exclusive cover. Okay, so we've got that one. Put that one here. We've got a Daredevil number 24. All right, that says digital edition, so there's a digital code. And then this cover I really, really like. This is X-Men plus Fantastic Four 4. Okay, and it's a variant cover. It's really, really cool looking. And I haven't read, I bought the Fantastic Four number 1, what was it, a couple years ago. And I like Ben Grimm, but it just didn't capture my attention enough for me to continue buying it. And so I don't generally do a lot of Fantastic Four reading. So that is the standard one. I've got 4 of them that are like that, and this is the one that looks a little different. And so I'm going to open this one also, and we'll see what it says when I open it. Maybe it's just the same stuff. Who knows? So, of course, we got that. Then we've got a Empire Aftermath, Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, number 7. And then, oh, we got this cool puppy that I really, really like. Let's see what this says in it. This says July 2019, Star Wars The Original Marvel Years number 50 Facsimile Edition. And so that's in there. And this thing is heavy. Look how they got the ads on the back. Okay, we all had a little bit of that stuff. I know we did. And it is really, really cool. So it's not newsprint. I think it'd be cooler if it was newsprint. It's all the hard, high quality paper. But it's still cool. Yeah, Lando in there a lot. I love it. So that one's a good one. But unfortunately, it's the only one like it. So I got one of those, and I've got 3 left of the other one. But that's okay. I'm still happy. So we're going to put these on the pile. And let me see. I'm just going to grab a box out. And it might be fun, and it might be a bummer. Who knows what we're going to end up with. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, you know what? I'm chatting all about DC. So if you guys want, what a cool find. Hey, Zombo, nice to see you. Thank you. And we've got Matt in here. Nice to see you, Matt. I'm going to put the rest of these. We'll open these on another video maybe. You guys remind me I have them, and I'll have them. Kind of a neat and weird thing is going on. I am working on buying a collection, okay, which that happens. Okay, I buy collections, but I haven't been aggressive buying them in quite a while. Let me take these robins. I wasn't going to move the robins, but now I'm going to move the robins. And it is really, really an interesting collection that I'm working on. But it's a friend of the family, and it's a lot trickier for me because I know them. And so I'll keep you informed on that one. But if I can work it out, it'll be a big video that I do. I think there's like 6 or 7 short boxes, and there's plenty of stuff from the 90s, but it's a guy that's my general age bracket, and it's comics he was buying when he was a kid. And then when he went to the Army, he stopped buying comics. Okay, so there's no Mark Jewelers in there, but he stopped. And then when he got out of the Army, he tried buying comics for a little while, bought some 90s stuff, but really just wasn't into it anymore. So he threw them all in boxes and put them away. And now I might be buying the whole collection. So it's stuff that's been just sitting for a long time. And I showed these a while ago. This is part of it. And what he did is he told his son he could, have whatever he wants. And it's like a kid. And he's riding around on a bicycle with these things. And it made me crazy. And he's like bringing me these comics. Like he brought me a ASM 129, beautiful one, on a bike. So I said, hey, you know what? Rather than you taking these home on your bike, just leave them here, and your dad can come get them for you. But he's got all these Marvel Milestone editions. These are all, I'll show them from the side. There's a ton of them, which I love. He's got like fantasy. Let me get rid of my my ringer there. He's got like some Tales to Astonish. He's got Tales of Suspense, 87. Uh, he's got these collector item classics. They're beat, but they're, you know, they're still complete and they're still nice to have. A lot of Marvel Tales he's got in here. These are all. These are all. Oh darn it! Reprint things, okay, but still really really cool stuff. That's right up my alley, and so it's a collection I'm working on. This is the tip of the iceberg. This is stuff that they just didn't want, and he said, "Hey, if you give me some Indiana Jones comics, you could just have these." So it's tricky because I want to buy the whole collection, and I don't want to overpay, which is really where I was sitting the other day. I was thinking of giving him a number, and I thought after the fact that, well, that would just be dumb of me because, you know, that I don't want to overpay, but I definitely, because it's a family friend, I don't want to underpay, and so yeah, isn't that funny, Tylox? When that happens, you hear a phone ring. It's like the other day I was at a baseball tournament and a kid yelled "Dad," and like every dad in the place, you know, stood up and looked around. It's a very funny thing. Distorted reality breaks for Silver Age Dave. I love it. So I'm just going to pull out a long box. And I was talking about DC and how I'm loving DC. And I'm just going to start going through some Green Lanterns. Okay? So we'll do that. I don't know anyone out there who's like, oh, I hate that Green Lantern. Everyone loves the Green Lantern. So most of this box is going to be Green Arrow stuff in the front, but then it naturally then goes over to Green Lantern. So I just got to get through. There's a couple of Green Goblins. There's a Green Hornet. Now Comics, Green Hornet is in there, right between Green Arrow and Green Lantern. And what's this? Green Hornet. There's a Dynamite Green Hornet that's in there. So anyway, so now we find ourselves looking at Green Lantern Volume 2. And I talked about these things. These are the dividers I use. I'm not sponsored. I would like DC Comics and BCW Supply and these guys, whoever they are, Max Protector, I'd like them to sponsor me and send me some free stuff because I am spending a lot of money. I love your stuff, but I'm not sponsored by anyone now. But what I do, like Green Lantern Volume 2, I'll actually write on here some information, okay? So I know where things start and stop and some dates. But that's what we're going to be looking at now is Green Lantern. And I'm going to skip this one. And I generally will put things like the annuals. Those will always go in the front, and then I'll start through with the issues. Now this one, I have a bunch of Green Lanterns in my Golden Age boxes. So fair market value minus 20%. Good tip. I like it. Yeah, you don't want to have anyone too upset later. And the other thing is, I think this makes it extra tricky, is I don't think fair market value right now is accurate. Because I think there will be an adjustment that happens where things will come back down. So I'm almost in my own head. I'm trying to calculate what was a fair price a year ago, which I think is more accurate for a high point, or 2 years ago, because I can't see the sustained price. They have a couple of keys, but most of the issues they have are run-of-the-mill, good bronze and silver age issues, which are, I'm sorry, still, you can pick them up a dime a dozen if you're buying collections. Not literally a dime, but you know what I'm saying. So it's a real tricky one because I don't want either one of us to get stung. I want us to all be happy later on down the road. So I have a bunch of Green Lanterns that are older, that are in other boxes, that are the Golden Age with boxes. I use magazine size boxes. But this is a standard box. So we're going to start today and get everything out of my way so we could actually enjoy these together. And I can show the covers. This is a special request of Grotto Orloff. So here we have Green Lantern. This is number 51. This is March of 1967. We'll get some of the glare off there for you guys. Look at that. Those are my favorite things. Those weird looking guys. A little bit of sci-fi action. And Dr. Silver Age, I mentioned him earlier. He's the only guy I know going after a complete set of Go-Go Check covers, which, you know, I talked about Andy Warhol and the whole pop art thing. And that was what DC did. They did a great job letting their comics be noticed and a terrible job producing comics. So I don't know if they sold real well. I don't think they did. I think people just knew which ones to avoid. But the idea behind the Go-Go Check, for people that don't know, let me grab a couple things out here. I'm just going to grab a couple of issues right here off the top. And so the idea was that these books would be on the rack like this, and DC wanted people to know that they could just go for that one. Okay, so if it was like this on the rack, you knew where the DC issue was. So that's why they had that Go-Go Check across the top. And again, they did a not great job. Check out that beauty. I don't know who's still in here, but check out that beauty. Hey, I got another stand up and cheer. Gomez is in here. Nice to see you, broski. Hey, I was watching. I love that you're involved in that whole flip side thing. I was watching you. You guys were talking about stuff, and my memory, because I'm so old, is bad. I don't even remember what you were talking about, but it was great seeing you on there, Gomez. So, you know, maybe someday someone will call me and they'll want my expertise on things, and then I'll be able to talk about comic books. But until that day happens, I love seeing Gomez and all my good buddies, you know, discussing things and looking at comics. So thank you so much, Gomez. And you know what? I'm going to show this because I always have it out. You tell Stephanie, Gomez. I love it. I still love it. I think it's supposed to be like that, but I keep it like this, right here by the grading desk, with beautiful artwork that people have sent me. This one from our good friend Matilda Gothica sent me that great Swamp Thing. And my friend Ray, I always show these because I love them. My friend Ray, I think it's Drawworks now, but he did these Silver Age Daves for me that are just beautiful. So thank you for that. So yeah, so let's show some comics. So I showed this one. That's episode number 51. And then we've got, this is number 52. Can't go wrong with Green Lantern. What a terrific hero. It is beautiful. So let's see. Two Chips loves the old Green Lantern. He's a DC fan. This is, we'll jump up to number 62. And this one is beat to all get out. And you know what that means? That means you're getting a great story for a fraction of the price. When you find an issue like that, that's got all that color rub at the top, that's not Marvel chipping. Okay, that's someone loved this comic book. Sometimes those are the best stories when they're like that. Okay? And I want to live my power ring or my life. Very cool stuff. And we've got, this is, oh wow, look at that. Robot Time. This is issue number 69. How beautiful. Now we've got a 15 center. This is issue number 71. This is September of 1969. I know Dr. Von Schilla is the big Gil Kane fan. Beautiful stuff there. What a dark and awesome cover. I was watching Mercenat today, and I laughed so hard because he had a rant. And I like paused it. I got all comfy in my chair. I said, here we go. Mercenat never has a rant. And then all of a sudden, like the rant was over. It was so fast, and I thought to myself, uh, I love how short that rant was. He made his point, moved on, didn't bum me out. I loved it. So Mercenot doesn't watch his channel, but if he did, I give you a thumbs up, Mercenot. That was well done. September 1969. I'll re-show that one for Gray Man. And what's funny, Gray Man, is Mrs. Silverage Dave was born September 5th of 1971. Or I'm sorry, of 1969. It's issue number 71. So September 1969, that's when Mrs. Silverage Dave was born. I don't know what day of the month your birthday is, but hers is the 5th. And so that makes it a real special month and year for me too. So I was happy. I saw you mention that the other day on your show, and I was going to comment on it. And then I thought by the time I type all that, they won't even know what I'm talking about. But great month and year. I'm a big fan of that. So what we have here is issue number 77. Look at that pink cover. Like, who decided we're going to do a big battle cover and we're going to make it pink? But I give them that makes me happy. I think that is really cool. Oh, look at that! Gray Man and Mrs. Silverage Dave. In a different world, if it was Bizarro World, I'd be married to Gray Man. And I think we would both hate it. You'd hate it more than me, Gray Man. I'm glad I married the right September 5th person. Not that you're not a looker, but she's my type. So good for you. That is a great birthday. That's why I like you so much. You must be a heck of a guy. Mrs. Silverage Dave is a heck of a girl, and I love her. Okay, so what issue we have here? As I'm moving quickly, issue number 78 is right there, and again, just beautiful art. You could just imagine getting this as a kid. It was a perfect rant. It really was, and I was going to comment in there that that I don't judge people by the color of their skin or their personality. I judge them by the length of their rant. And he did a perfect job. I didn't comment on it. I just gave him a thumbs up. Check out the ad on the back of that. How cool that is. I had a parking garage as a kid, and I don't remember it enough to know if that was it. I have that kind of that gray zone memory where I can see it and I can't see it, but that is really, really cool. And that's about the right timeline. That is funny, Distorted Reality. That is funny. And I have a joke that I could tell right now. If we were in a bar somewhere and it was just dudes, I have a really funny joke, but I can't tell it on this channel. So what you got to do is you got to figure your way to get to Holy Toledo, Ohio. Come to the comic room. We're going to drink a couple beers, and I'll tell you that joke. So there you go. How about the kitchen? Norm Macdonald does a little thing like that where he says, he's telling Rodney Dangerfield jokes because he's a big fan of Rodney Dangerfield, as I think we all are. And he talks about how he was, one morning he was in the bathroom standing in front of the mirror, and he's talking to his wife. He said, "Honey, I look in the mirror and all I see is how do you say it? A washed up old man, and I really need you to give me a compliment." And she said, "Well, your eyesight is darn near perfect." And I thought it was funny. So it's on those lines. Am I going to Gem City Con? Is that for me, Bubs? I don't go to any cons, really. Last time I was going to go to a con, Great Legend and Seawood and all those guys, Discovery Bay, they all went to Chicago Comic-Con C2E2 a few years ago, and they rented a house, and it was awesome. It was so fun. And just as luck would have it, I happened to find myself at my parents' house that weekend in Chicago. And I know Captain Strangelife went down there, but I reached out to those guys. I'm like, "Hey, I want to come see you guys." But everyone was so busy, I never got to find out where they were. And I wasn't going to pay $200 to get into C2E2. So I went to a whole nother place that didn't sell comics necessarily. They sold like old newspapers and posters and magazines. And lo and behold, they had a whole bunch of boxes of comics, and I scored big time. I spent the 150 I would have spent to get in the door at C2E2, but I walked out of there with probably $1,000 worth of comic books that no one had looked through in years. So I generally don't go to cons. If I find myself in a town with a Comic Con, I will probably skip the Comic Con and just go hunting those little back area places to find comics. Look at that bad boy. That is beautiful. The colors on this are magnificent. There, I said it. It is issue number 79. It's a September issue. So this would be 70 probably. Yeah, it is Jake from State Farm. That's what I do. That's my day job. I own a State Farm insurance agency in Ohio. And so, yeah, that's me. Look at the colors on that. And I've talked about this before. I would say half of my comic books are bagged and boarded. I'm not the guy that, oh, you got to put boards on everything and everything needs to be in Mylar. I don't believe that. No, Gem City. That might be. Yeah, a great legend. I haven't seen in a long time, but I sat at home. What was funny, I sat at my parents' house that night. They were live streaming. Them guys just sitting around drinking beers and doing shots. And I watched the live stream. I'm like, man, I know I'm a half hour away from you guys, but I didn't know where they were. I'm not going to go door knocking. Chicago's a big place. So that's the last con experience I had. I have been invited by some of the Ohio guys to a couple of Ohio cons, but I don't ever seem to get down there to those cons. Again, I've got 6 kids, and we've got ball games, and we've got, different things to do, and I just never seem to get away for that stuff. Though I love it. I love cons. This is number 80. Possibly one of my favorite covers is when you're looking at, a newspaper headline. Flash had them. DC, had plenty of these that they would do. But look at how beautiful that one is. Okay, I wouldn't put it in a high grade, but man, it's nice. Little cleaning to that would be beautiful. And again, no board on it. But if you're storing them properly, if you're keeping the boxes nice and tight, things aren't flopping over. There's no spine ticks on there, right? That's been sitting in the same place forever, and doesn't have spine ticks. It doesn't need a board. Just store them right. Oh, that was from Hoodat. Nice to see you, Hoodat. Haven't seen you in a bit. Great to see you. And we got Nike Air Comics 22 in here. Nice to see you, Nike Air. I am running lately in Nike shoes, and I'm not a fan of Nike because I like a company that does what they're supposed to do, and they do it better than anyone else. I don't like when people are pushing agendas on me, and so I don't wear shirts with logos that often, unless of course it's my own logo. But lately, I love Nike running shoes, trail shoes. They've got a Nike Zoom Terra Kiger and a Wild Horse 7 that I love, and I just bought a pair of Nike Pegasus 38s, which that means 38 years in a row they've come out with an update to the same shoe, and they are great. They're very fast. If anything, I find myself having to slow down a little bit in them. So I don't know if Nike Air Comics is a big Michael Jordan fan as I am, or if you like Nike shoes, or you're just going with the Greek god thing. But nice to see you. Oh yeah, Brooks. I also use Brooks Cascadias for light trail running. So when you run ultra marathons, then you have a lot of shoes. I probably have 15 different pairs of running shoes for different type of terrain. So what issue is this? This is issue number 81. as my comics are moving around, I got to create some space. There's 78, 79, 80, 81. Goes there. And then these will eventually get probably put in Mylar. I think they're old enough now. They'll go in Mylar with boards, but they haven't had boards up till now. There's issue number 80. What is that, 85? No, 82. I was reading upside down, which is really cool. Cool ad on the back, the Aurora. Hey, Brian Odell is in here. Nice to see you, Brian. Yeah, seeing Michael Jordan play live. I'm from Chicago originally. I gotta tilt these back a little bit. Seeing Michael Jordan play basketball in person is one of the highlights. Like, I just loved it. Like seeing the Rolling Stones live, seeing Grateful Dead live. There's a bunch of bands that I look at. I'm like, man, and sadly, I missed Stevie Ray Vaughan. I had tickets to his last show with Clapton, and I was supposed to be there, and I forget what life event I had. I think it was during finals, and I was going to have to just fail to see that show, and so I didn't go to that show, and I don't know how to feel about that. If I should have great regret, but that's a guy I would have loved to have seen live. Didn't get to see him. The nice thing about growing up in Chicago was every band in the world came through Chicago. So I saw Pearl Jam in a little tiny vaudeville theater, a lot of big time bands. I used to go to a lot of grungy shows, kind of in Wrigleyville area for people that are familiar with Chicago. They had all these old little theaters that were so cool. If you wanted to be in the front row, there were no seats. You just walk around. And there might not be 200 people in the place, and it's a big venue, for a little theater. So got to see a lot of cool bands that way. What do we got here? Do I have two of those? No, that's a different one. That's another cool one, as I just cruise through these. There you go, Bubs. He's old enough. He saw the Stones live. Must have been at MSG. Where'd you see them? I don't know what MSG is. My brother was from Sydney, Ohio, not far from Lima. Yeah, Lima's great. Ohio is like the manufacturing place. There's a great issue to have, right? What is that? Now it's number 85. I said 85 earlier. That wasn't it. There's the famous drug issue, right? And again, it's a big issue for everyone else. For me, it's just like all the other issues. No bag, no board. Look at the spine. Okay, you store them right, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. This bag is an old school poly bag, but it's beautiful. It's doing its job. And if I pull this out, that comic is going to be just as well protected as the day it went in there. Let me pull it out of there, as long as we're playing. And I always keep a tape block. Oh, Madison Square Garden. That makes sense. Who would ever not know that? Thank you both for bringing me. Yeah, everyone knows. Went to a garage sale yesterday. They had comics for 10 cents. I bought 450. Wow, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Great garage sale pickup. That's what I love. Okay, so let's open this guy up and see what's what. The bag itself, let me show it. It's a little bit yellowed. It's got the wrinkles. Looks like a CGC slab, doesn't it? With all that weird stuff on it. But it's just been there, okay? And but you can see it's done its job. So let's look at that actual issue. Let's get an up close and personal on it. Just lovely, okay? Again, no ticks on it because it's been stored properly. We got a cool Hot Birds ad on the back, Mattel Hot Birds. Look at that. It's freebasing right there on the cover. Go figure. Is that freebasing? I think that's freebasing. Hard to say. I bought some posters recently at a garage sale, um, and was pretty happy with the pickup. A couple were like turtles and Power Rangers, but the best one in there, I'm giving it to my son Gabe. It is a um, what's the Space Jams, Michael Jordan Space Jams, and it's a little beat up. See, I'm not even going to tape that one because I'll probably bag and board that one a little differently. Oh, so there's another one. I got a couple of them in here. They're hiding. Okay, so again, no boards on them, but they're fine. They're doing great. We love our comics, but if you can save a little bit of money on things, then you can have more comics. That's always what I've said. So this one here, that's the continuation. That's issue number 86. Beautiful. It's in great shape. We got our Frankenstein Aurora models there. I only know one guy in the community that had all these models, and I haven't seen him in a long time. He was like, I always consider him like part of the Chris Lackey crew. There's another one, number 87. Beautiful. Check out that Aurora ad. I don't know what I'm more excited about. Probably the ads. Beautiful. For those of you who saw the big CBCS submission I did, it's really weird not having those issues here with me. I don't like having this stuff out and about, but they're in the pressing room at CBCS now. I got an update, and so I would guess by October I'll have those things back. And I'm running a lot till then. And hey, Musings, he likes that cover, he says. Classic cover. So it's weird not having them. How much it costs to grade a cover, I don't know. They have it slabbed. I know I spent a fortune. I sent 90 books in, and they're all getting pressed. So I guess it depends how you're sending them, how old they are, if you're having them pressed. In my case, the CBCS rep came here and picked them out. But we picked out, I'm going to say we picked out the low-lying fruit. What he's going to do, talk about classics, right? What he's going to do next time is he's just going to start going through boxes. Because stuff like this, there's certainly books in here that could be sent in. Really, all these I'm showing could easily be slabbed and graded. Probably will be. But he didn't go through the boxes. He just, took the low-lying fruit. And next time, we're going to dive deep into these. So just beautiful. Okay, love these. This is an interesting, a lot of these Green Lanterns came from a lady at church. Her name is Dorothy. And she's quite a bit older. And her husband was an engineer before he died. And he had 1,500 comic books. And she had a dealer come in who made her a pretty healthy offer to buy the whole collection. And she said, no, I want to talk to another guy first. And then he tried to buy all the keys out of it. And she said, no, I'll get back in touch with you. And she sold me that whole collection for a third of what he had offered her. And her husband always liked seeing my family at church. We went to church together. And he always liked it. And they, she found out I collected comics because you got to tell everyone. And for her, it wasn't about the money. She knew he would be happy with the collection finding me. So what I paid her, I paid her a lot, but in retrospect, it was such a deal. I went and I got $1,500 for her. Yep, we got a couple of that one too. So I won't show the other one. I gave her $1,500 for 1,500 comics is how it worked out. So $1 a piece, but I love them. And the comics I bought from her, I know the ones they are. And ones I did rebag and board, I put those into bag and board with her name on it. Not her whole name, but I have a little code, so I know they came from her and her husband. And before she sold me books, they had a son who went through and he took everything he wanted. So there were no big keys in there, but it was a great situation. It was like the absolute perfect win-win for everybody. This is February, March 1977. We jump up a long way. And guys, it's been a long video. Man, 99 minutes. This might be a world record. Let's see, new 52 Red Lantern run. How about that? So I do have like some new 52 stuff in here. There's like Green Lantern or Green Arrow. I'm sorry, new 52s in there. I like the Re-52. I think or the new 52. I think it's fine. There's a Rebirth #1 on Green Arrow. Yeah, and sometimes I'll do things like this. Like this is a Green Arrow Volume 2 run, and I'll just have a bag and board, and I write here number 30, what is it? Number 32, find in box 1, inappropriate cover. So this is the one where Green Lantern and Green Arrow are at a strip club, like looking up, and all you can see is like the lady's legs. Inappropriate. So sometimes like I have it, but I have it in a different place. Like I have a recalled comics and inappropriate, like for Alf, goes in that other box. So I'll have a little marker that I'll put in so I know where to look for it. So this goes 31 straight to 33. So there's my marker. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for spending a bunch of the morning with me. I'm going to stop there. We saw some cool Green Lantern stuff. There's lots more great stuff in here, but I'm just going to move on, and then maybe next time we'll go through some other stuff. Dexstar is a good cat. Oh, Bad Dad's in here. Bad Dad, great channel. Vengeance 1 for my daughter collection, first appearance. Yeah, I thought everybody had Vengeance 1. I've got a couple of them, but none I'm ready to sell because I think great stuff's going to happen. But when that came out, Whodat, I just thought it was a cool cover. So those are somewhere. I now have 3 rooms. I have this room, and then I have another overflow room back there, and then I have another room kind of behind me. And they're in there somewhere. I know I have some Vengeance 1s, but I haven't gone through a lot of the new stuff. But if anyone out there knows where there's a Vengeance 1 for Whodat's daughter, please reach out to Whodat and let him know that it's out there and you're willing to part company with it. Whodat's got a great channel too. If someone wants to put Whodat in here in the for people to sub up, he's got a great channel, unbelievably knowledgeable. And what I like most, Whodat, about your channel is you're a family man. He's got his kids around, and they're part of things sometimes. I really like that. And I pay attention to those things in videos. I don't often have my kids around because they're not around, but I think it's a great part of your channel that the kids are part of it, and I think that's great. So let's see, isn't that your whole collection at Bub's Comics? Risque covers, yeah. So Bubs, I don't know if you saw that Urban Legends, Batman Urban Legends #5 that I spec'd on, but let me show it again. I bought 100 of these because I think it'll be a big time. It's DC Comics, so they all have a key first appearance. But this one is supposed to be a real big key first appearance. But this is Batman Urban Legends 5, the Mimi Yoon variant. And I'm picking up 100 of them. I ordered them before FOC. I got 100 of them waiting for me. I'm picking up tomorrow at Rupp's Comics, Fremont, Ohio. Greatest place. If anyone was going to have a Vengeance 1 affordably, they might be the place, Whodat. So anyway, yeah, that's a cool Bubs quality comic. We'll say that. Yeah, I got 100 of them, and they're not cheap. They're a $7.99 cover price, I think. And I get them discounted a little bit when I pre-order like that. But yeah, so I think those will be really good. Johnny Two Chips, thank you so much. Gray Man, Tylox, thank you. Bad Dad, appreciate you. Whodat, Nike Air, he wants to get his first miles and first Riri Williams. Yeah, if you think those are comics that you're not going to ever read them again and you want them for investment value, then, I don't think slabbing them is an end all be all. Eventually you'll have to reholder them, but that's a great thing to do, and I don't think it would be all that expensive. So we got Musings in here and Brian O'Dell in here. I'm just going to scroll down, not the whole way, but I'll scroll a little bit. Distorted Reality was in here, and so many other great people. So thank you so much. Gomez, of course, my broski. Always love seeing you, buddy. And Grotto Orloff. Check out Grotto Orloff channel. He does like a Captain Strangelove type thing where he just talks about things, and I love it. And Matt is in here, and Zombo, and Spinner Rack was in here earlier. Dr. Von Chilla, one of the greats, long term. I don't know what year Dr. Von Chilla started doing comic videos on YouTube, but it was a long time ago, and we appreciate you. People that built this country they gave blood, sweat, and tears to build the greatest country that ever existed. And the guys that built this YouTube platform in the comic community, they built it. And we're all reaping the rewards nowadays, that it's so vibrant and it's diverse, and there's so much great content on YouTube. Well, there didn't used to be. It took guys blood, sweat, and tears, scratch and clawing to make it happen. So thank you to you guys. Lego Builder, Digital Overload was in here. Comic Book G Spot was in here. Kyle Walker, a guy we don't see that much of. Movie World, and C. Woodard. I can't ever forget about C. Woodard. What a great member of the community. And Gene Paulice, Peter GPAP was in here earlier. And just appreciate you guys, one and all. I think I got everyone. Bad Avenger, I can't even say the name without standing up and clapping. I don't even know if Bad Avenger's still in here, but I give him 5 thumbs up. And Keep It Comics was in here earlier, and London's Fun World was in here. And again, really appreciate Samuel Wessel, and Randy Reffert was in here, and Heroes Diacons was in here. James Higgins was in here. David E68. Look at this. I think that's everybody. Guys, thank you so much. Smile a lot, get some sunshine on you, and know that you are a big part of this channel. I appreciate you. Silver Age Dave is out. Kurt Krupvik, I saw it. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.